Welcome to another episode of Broadcasting Seeds. Today's Sasquatch Sunday episode should be the first of many. I want to introduce my buddy Joule Mtanos. Joule is a husband, a Marine Corps veteran peer support specialist, and now Sasquatch researcher. As always, please like, subscribe, and leave a review of the podcast. If you have a story to tell, reach out to us on social media or email us at broadcastingseeds@gmail.com. Just keep bullshitting.
Sounds good to me, brother.
So Broken Bridge I think is awesome.
Yep.
And then
Good name.
you call it Broken Bridge Research Area or whatever,
Research
something.
outcropping.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Dude, I'm already not the word overwhelmed isn't the word that I'm even looking for. It's a good feeling, not a bad one. And there's a negative connotation with overwhelmed, but the plethora of knowledge that's floating around
Right.
about just this area of discussion is insane. I'm pretty green to this especially compared to you and all the folks that we're going to be working with. But I feel like I'm just a sponge, man. I'm here to just absorb
Here's the thing,
everything.
though. So this is one of the things I wanted to bring up.
Sure.
Is your background kind of lends to, sneaking through the fucking woods,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sneaking
That's
through
true.
the woods and also being observant.
Mm-hmm.
So what more do you need?
I mean, I'm just happy to be here, brother. Yeah. Yeah. This is
Am I right though?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you have those traits or qualities about you, it makes going through life in general pretty simple. You're open to everything.
Absolutely.
Especially trekking out through the woods and messing around.
For sure. So I'm looking at all right, so Broken Bridge Research Area.
Okay.
Which is what?
Let's call it that.
This is our place. Broken Bridge Research Area. So I'm looking at the Bigfoot mapping project.
Okay.
And there's a couple, like I sent that to you the other day.
Yeah.
And there's a couple. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like within like 50 miles, I'd say 25 miles of there. There's like 4 sightings.
That's what I'm saying, man. So there's and
they're not even and they're not that long ago.
What time frames are we looking at?
We've got one from 2002.
Okay.
Which is miles away.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the other ones, they're 80s. You've got some 90s. 1974.
Well,
but I find it. I'm looking at I'm trying to put a pattern together.
Sure.
And I don't know if we have that yet, but either way, we've had experiences.
Mm-hmm.
You've had experiences.
Absolutely, dude.
In that area, from huffs and bluff charges. And do you guys have bears there?
Yeah. So I found bear track and scat out back. Again, the track was pretty it was mud, pretty mushy. Mm-hmm. But not only that, then about 10, not even 10 miles up the road, a massive black bear was hit and killed on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, so, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, they frequent the area. They're not like super common, but they come through here.
But they're there.
They're there for sure. And I mean, we have coyotes the size of wolves out here too. I got
Well,
pictures I can send you
some of them
actually.
might be mixed with some wolves.
Yeah,
This is the
probably.
toy dog stuff, right?
Yep, seen those as well. Those are even more terrifying because you never know what you're getting with a toy
Crazy.
dog.
No, you don't.
Mhm.
So, yeah, broken bridge. So cool.
Are you
All right.
messing around with AI making something right
No,
now?
no, I'm not. I was looking at the map.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, literally, I'm not even kidding. It's like a couple miles is
Yeah.
one of those sightings. But so here's the cool part about this that they've got. He's melded it with like a wildlife,
Hmm.
couple different wildlife overlays, but I'm not gonna mess with that now, but that's kind of neat. Like it shows like stuff on the Salmon River, like people have caught stuff here, found stuff there, or like shot a deer here.
What?
And like we found a salamander, a northern two-line salamander, which is like just over across 81,
Yeah.
not far from where it's at.
Okay.
That's just crazy though.
That is absolutely wild, man.
So, I mean, there's lots of wildlife. And
Yeah.
really, if you zoom out, I mean, there's nothing around it. So cool.
It's just
So,
woods.
but we haven't been across. I've never been across
The
the
bridge.
broken bridge
Yep.
to the other side where it's like that's where all I say the activity, but it's not. There's been I've heard a whoop from over there,
Yep.
and at least two different knocks, in response to knocks.
Yep.
So it was a whoop in response to a knock, and then a knock in response, two knocks in response to knocks.
I was there
Um,
for the knocks the second time during the day.
right.
Um, which I couldn't believe that actually happened.
It's just crazy. But that was coming from across the creek.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then the night, so I'm just gonna say the night that I stayed out there, when was that? Was that August?
No. No. I think
September?
no, it was either no, I
Or
think
was
you're
it
right.
earlier?
It was August or July. It was earlier. I believe
July or
July actually.
so
Mhm.
July.
Yep.
Um, I stayed out there alone,
Yep.
and it was, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was fun. It was nice.
Eh,
I set up some trail cams. I set up that, like stuff with like a giving rock, I guess you would call it, with an apple and
yeah.
some like a stuffed animal and some stuff which turned out weird
Yep.
as
Yep.
well,
Of course.
with a big pile of. So I set it up. I'll just tell the story. I set it
Yeah,
up
you might as well.
on top of a fence. So we have these stone fences all over the property. Well,
Mhm.
there's one main big one, right?
Yep.
And but it's about 3.5 feet high,
Yeah, just
three and a
about.
half feet high. But it's not easy to like just jump up on it, right?
No, you'll fall or push it over.
Right.
Mhm.
So I put the stuff on top of that, right?
Mhm.
And I put a trail cam on it. And we got nothing on the trail cam, of course,
Yeah.
and I didn't really expect to either.
Yeah.
But what did what did happen
Hmm.
once I went out there to retrieve stuff? I mean, the apples were gone, blah blah blah. But I could never quite see what what happened to the apples.
Sure.
Like I don't know if um
A deer came up
they're
type
right,
thing. Yeah.
but if a deer came up, it would have been on trail cam.
Absolutely.
So they disappeared, but nothing showed
Nothing
on the
came up
trail
on the
cam.
camera.
No.
Huh.
And I've seen other videos where it looked like and this was a trail cam that had a thermal aspect to it, I
Yep.
think. And it looked like a hand reached up from behind like a log,
Sure.
reached up and like grabbed an apple and came back.
Huh.
Now I didn't see this on our on the trail cam that I had put out there, but the
Yep.
apples were there and then they weren't.
Mhm. Can you see? So was it taking like was the trail cam taking pictures over certain time
I
frames? Like,
mean, yeah, and I couldn't tell if it wasn't like it's well, but there was like a gap. So it's like there was one or the last video or because it takes video and it takes snapshots.
sure.
And the last time that I saw the apples,
Mhm.
then the next time, but it was like, I don't know, an hour later, maybe.
Okay.
I'd have to look back.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also not that important, in my opinion. So,
That's fair.
but
I'm
but the
just
fact,
taking account.
but the fact that they disappeared is like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yep.
And whatever took it didn't trigger. And
The
it
camera.
wasn't like on the other side of the fence or something like that. I
Mhm.
looked all around.
I mean, it would have
But
picked it up.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was a deer, especially.
Mhm.
Now, if you went down, I looked to the left when I was looking up, and I looked down there, and there was this giant pile of shit on top of the fence.
What? Huh?
So, yeah, didn't I show you those pictures?
You
I
did.
guess not. Maybe I
Hold
did.
on. Let me go back.
But there
I would have it
so I
saved.
looked to the left and there was this giant pile of shit, and it didn't look like bear shit. I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
Right
it
here.
doesn't look like bear shit. It doesn't look like any shit that I've ever seen. Yeah. Well,
Yep.
there's that one, but that one's there. Who knows what that is? That could be bear shit. The
Okay.
other one though is on top of that 3.5 foot fence,
Here it is.
and it's a big pile, right?
Yep. There it
Right
is.
on top of it. Yeah.
That's wild.
Right on top of it. And what the hell's that? And here's the kicker. I went down just to see, and I went down and turned around and looked at the camera. It's off camera.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've lived here
And
for
that and
5
I can
years.
tell you, that that was not there when I went, because that's right next to the spot where I crossed the fence, because there's a break in that fence, right?
Yeah.
Or
I
at
mean,
least there's a lower area.
yeah. Well, these
It,
are also large rocks. So that was a huge pile of
it's a
scat.
huge, big pile of scat.
And I have never known. Now there is a tree back there, but again, you can't stand on that wall without it like you'd push the rocks over. It's not sturdy enough to hold in a squatting position
Yeah,
a
because
bear.
it's an old right. No,
Yeah,
exactly. So what else would that be?
exactly. And that's huge. That's not a regular,
That's
like,
like
that's
kind
not
of
deer. That's not deer. That's not
no, no, no.
rabbit.
Well, deer,
That's not
it's not pellets. It's not
coyote. There's no fur in it. Like,
no, it's like a human. It's like a human stood up there and
took a dump.
took a dump. Literally. There's no berries, there's no
Nothing.
seeds and stuff in it. Like it's
No,
just bizarre. Super bizarre. But
that's
whatever.
huge.
I mean, it is what it is, but that's just one piece of evidence or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Remember those weird scuff marks that we saw that were going down towards the creek?
The dragging
Yeah, like
looked
almost
like
like something
dragging.
had been dragged.
Yep.
That was weird, right?
Very
And
strange.
nobody's been back there.
No.
So this is the other side of this, folks, that you have to understand. This is 95 acres, right? Roughly.
94.
It's
Yeah.
94, but either way, there's acreage, like hundreds of acres on all sides of it.
Yeah. It's all forest.
It's all forest, and there's not like houses in the back, like
No.
back there.
Nothing.
Like the next closest thing, you're almost in like Altmar,
Yeah.
like that. Like
Basically.
if you could literally walk all the way until, yeah, it's just a giant square of woods
Yeah.
and some creeks and stuff like that.
and
Mhm.
that's it. I mean, it's hundreds of acres, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
So
we're near Lake Ontario too, which is also just even more acreage of woods, near a massive water source, obviously.
massive
Um,
water source. Well, I mean, and there's, just north of there, there's the Salmon River Reservoir,
yep,
right?
yep,
Um, so there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, and there's why, I mean, obviously it's technically as part of the Tug Hill is that correct? Or
it
is
is,
it?
it is.
So there's tons of wildlife there, as we know, tons of state land.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a vast, like a wilderness, and there are camps, there are homes, there are the stuff, but it's all sporadic. Like it is a
Yeah,
huge wildlife corridor, absolutely unequivocally. In it's there's a plethora of wildlife, and so that's one of the things that we're going to try and figure out is
mhm.
that do we have a because one of my theories is that at least in this upstate New York area, that this population of Sasquatch might be transient, right?
Sure.
Because it's freaking cold, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, and that's saying that they're, you know, flesh and blood
Hmm.
animals, which we have people that, this is a big debate, but
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna go into that right now. But
Mhm.
in New York State, you have some hot spots. Um, it looks like by this map right now, like the hottest spot around is in Lake George.
Yeah.
But let's think of it this way. If you're looking at the map and you are a transient population of Sasquatch,
Hmm.
this is a good path to go south, or at least because then it's if we're looking at hotspots of where Sasquatch are, you're cutting across New York State and then cutting across parts of PA.
Yeah.
I mean, because the big hotspots on the East Coast, at least um, that I know of, are down in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
mainly around like Pittsburgh, but not, I'd say east
So
of
more
Pittsburgh.
Western.
Yeah, Western PA. So
Okay.
like just like I said though, but like if you're at Lake George or you're summer, if you're up in the Adirondacks during the summer and then
Yeah.
you migrate, right?
Yep.
Say down to PA, because why not? It's not as nearly as cold down there.
Yeah.
Down to PA, you would walk right through this area,
Well,
right?
yeah. Yeah. I
It's
mean, if
it's
you think
summer
about it,
camp for Sasquatches.
yeah, I mean, it's the Appalachian Mountains too, man. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Appalachian up into the Catskills, the Adirondacks. Like this is we're in some of the most wooded
Remote
areas.
areas,
And
right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, the population of the town that I live in is what, 300?
Something like
Um,
that. Yeah.
very minimal.
So you've got this huge population east of Pittsburgh, and then all the way, like it's kind of like a solid block, kind of over even into Ohio, right?
Yep.
Eastern Ohio. So Western PA, Eastern Ohio. That's like the hot spot in on the East Coast.
Okay.
And we're going, and I do a lot of stuff and Allegheny, which
Yep.
you're going to start going down there with me.
Absolutely.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Um, but
Very
like
excited.
you've had some crazy stuff happen out by the campfire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So you want me to go into that?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So out in my backyard, it's about 2 acres, I would say. Half of that is fenced in, and I have a big fire pit in the back corner. And again, it's butted up right to the woods. Um, I was sitting out there with my wife one night. I think it was around like 11 o'clock, almost midnight. And my wife was sitting in the hammock about 20 feet behind me. I was standing directly, like right up on the fire. And I can't exaggerate the sound. And when I say this, it's not any exaggeration to what I heard. It sounded like something was crashing through the woods. I have never immediate fear. My dogs also, another thing, I have 2 Great Pyrenees. They bark at butterflies farting in the wind. So
and
they
they're big ass dogs. They're not
huge,
like
150 pounds and
yeah,
110, 120, you know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. They're the size of wolves.
Yeah.
But they're bred to fight them. So
Yes,
they're
correct.
they're meant to be guard dogs as well, and that's how they respond out here. And they went silent. I have never seen them tuck their tails and run up the stairs that way.
Which is
My
crazy.
wife,
Well,
dude,
I mean, they were barking at me the other day from up on the
yeah,
deck, and I was like, "What the hell?"
yeah, man, they bark at anything and everything. That's why
Yeah.
when they didn't, that's when it started clicking. Like, oh no! And not only that, the first thought in my head was, I have nothing that's gonna put this thing down. Yeah, like I don't have what it takes to put this thing
I
down.
got
Yeah.
nothing.
I had nothing, man. And so I ran back to my wife. I was like, "Hey, you good?" She's like, "Holy shit, what was that?" You know. We jumped up, went inside. I looked out back, nothing, man. I could not see anything, couldn't find anything. But I'm looking back and there's shit just pushed down.
Well, you
And it
showed me later the area that it had
was
come,
all
whatever it
matted
was,
down,
all matted down.
all
Like,
matted
what
down.
in the hell?
Massive. It looked like it literally ran right up to the fence, stopped. And again, this isn't like, for people can be skeptical. I'm talking as a very skeptical person myself. I'm not going into this with any preconceived notions or anything like that. I experienced something. We happen to have something in common. I jumped immediately into it because the reality is I believe that there's a lot more to this world than we even understand. And especially with experiencing things like that. And then what came a couple weeks later. So after you had come out here and put the gifting place and everything set up out back with the
Well,
trail
yeah. So
cameras.
also remember, I this is something I always forget about. Remember that Blair Witch tree that we found?
Yeah, very
Dude,
strange.
that was
Very
so
strange.
crazy. So if people don't understand what I'm talking about, there's a there's a
Makes no sense.
there was a bento well, there was a tree that, we talk about tree breaks, right? We talk about
Hmm.
limb breaks. And there was a distinct limb break that was about 7.5, 8 feet up.
Yep.
Um,
I would
and
say,
and we hadn't had any storms or anything. And it just looked like something had reached up, snapped it down. But then there was all these like, decent 2 to 3 inch uh I don't know, 10 to 12 feet long.
yeah,
Uh, it would look like
trees.
saplings that had been like cracked off and then wedged into this tree and then into the Y of that other tree.
Hmm.
And then there was all those little like they looked like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it looked like these sticks had been woven in. I have pictures of it, so I'll put it up
yeah.
in the show notes stuff, but it was bizarre, like, especially and it's like you can look at the pictures and you see one thing, but when you
Mhm.
see it in person, you and I both were like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
what the hell is that?"
And I've been back there plenty, never saw anything like that.
Right.
So the reality too is those trees weren't even in that area. Some of the trees
Oh,
that were
exactly,
mixed
correct.
in were not even in that area.
No.
So that made no sense again. And I wasn't back there fiddling with the trees and
Right.
jamming
It was
stuff up like that.
absolutely whatever
No.
it was absolutely deliberately put there.
Sure, sure. Um,
In our humble opinion, right?
yes, in our opinion, yes.
So,
And and that's the thing, is that this is all always our opinions at the end of the day, but the
yeah,
reality is we know what we're seeing.
right.
Um,
And
and
so I've been out there a few times wandering around
mhm,
looking at stuff, and there's just so much animal sign. I mean, there's deer, like other friends of yours have taken deer out there, and
yeah,
there's plenty of food sources, and there's fish in that stream.
yep.
There's all kinds of stuff. And so the broken bridge thing, I think, in my opinion,
Mhm.
that something tore that down.
Yeah, the way that it's so It was slightly like dilapidated, but again, I have been on that bridge multiple times myself. It wouldn't just fall. It had to have taken some sort of weight to be on it for it to crumble the way that it did. And especially through the middle where it just snapped straight down.
Right.
It looks like it was broken. And pushed off to the side almost.
Correct.
That
It
makes
looked
no
like
sense.
something had pulled it down.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Not even like been on top of it to go down. Like it looks like something pulled it down.
Absolutely.
And why is that? Because every time you've been over there on that side of the creek, you get an eerie, weird feeling that you're not alone.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone that's gone out there with me would attest to the same.
Right. And every single vocal thing or sound that we've heard has come from that side as well.
And that is very unfrequented. Across the river and in the back is it's much denser woods. We're talking a lot older woods because the area up front of that river was farmland. So that's much younger. You can tell the trees are a little smaller. You look back there and you got 200 footers.
Yeah. No, there's some big freaking trees back there. So
yeah,
older growth.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
and then the knocking.
Yes, the knocking.
So it was what, 2 weeks after you were here?
Not even. It was a week.
A week, yeah. So it was about 2 a.m. I was out cold, passed out, and my wife woke me up at like 2 a.m. and was like she had seen a ghost. And again, my wife's real skeptical about all this stuff. She doesn't believe any, she thinks I'm woo woo and whatever. But
yeah, it's like my wife.
Yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? She still loves me. She woke me up because she heard a distinct knocking and tapping on the windows, and she was like, "There's no way." We live out here. We hear all kinds of stuff. We know what we're listening to.
And you have cameras on your house.
I have cameras everywhere,
except for
right there. There is not a single goddamn thing looking out that way
on your bedroom window, which is also how far off the ground?
You'd have to reach up like 7 feet.
Yeah.
You'd have to tap the window.
Like, it's not something that you're worried about somebody like hopping up and jumping through the window. Correct.
No. Not only that, you'd have to push through the brush right behind the window to get to that area. Which again went out and it was just matted down. Like something was and deer. So I have seen deer back there. Doesn't look like that. Right. It doesn't.
So she heard something tapping on the window. Anything happen after that?
So I just jumped up and ran. I went like right outside to check, and there was nothing besides, again, the matted down wood, and there was literally nothing. So as if me jumping up and looking out because I looked out the window and I couldn't see anything.
Right.
And you want to so bad. You just want to see, you just want to see it out there.
Yeah.
It's it just keeps evading me apparently, man. I don't know how.
Well,
just messing with me.
It's funny because everyone thinks that they're gonna be different.
Yeah.
Like so you listen to the Confessionals podcast. So yes, sure. Tony Merkel thought, he tells the story of like when that was his gateway drug as well as Sasquatch to this whole thing. Just like mine, just like yours now, all this stuff. The gateway drug. And
it is.
He thought he's gonna, be different and go out and see it and expose it and this. And I'm not saying that I was not thinking that way too, but like I'm gonna do this different or blah blah blah. But
there's something different with me.
It was different.
Yeah.
So there's something. He's gonna go down. He's gonna get a picture, and we're gonna be. It's hey,
that's the end of it.
That's the end of it. Freaking body, whatever. He's just gonna trip over one in the brush.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like, holy shit, it just must have died here.
One day, brother. One day.
But so kind of funny. But
absolutely.
But so those are basically our experiences at Broken Bridge. That's what we'll call it.
Broken
Bridge
Bridge.
research area, right?
Love it.
So I have some experiences from other places, but I'm not going to tell this episode. So,
Got to save something.
but no, it's just one of those things, we've got a lot of time.
Yeah.
And way more Sasquatch Sundays to go through this stuff.
Absolutely, man.
And you just can't give it all away. Because plus, what I've done lately is I've written it down. So I actually, on the Bigfoot mapping project, I put one of my oh yeah, actually it's right there. Boom.
Look at that.
That's cool. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So maybe I'll tell you one. Okay.
There we go.
So this was, and I remember it because I looked way back. Like I looked back. And like from my stuff. So I was in the Boy Scouts, blah, blah, blah. 80s. Yeah, I'm a 70s kid. Well, not a 70s kid. I was born in the 70s, but grew up in the 80s and 90s. So this was September 8th is the day that October 8th.
Okay.
Of 1986. So I was 12.
Okay.
And I remember, I'm not positive that it was the 8th, but it was definitely in October because this is one of the times that we went out to this campsite all the time.
Yeah.
And it's in rural Illinois. And the camp place used to be called Camp, I think it was Lake. Oh my gosh, now it's escaping me. But it was called Camp Heffernan is what the camp was called. Now, what is it called? I don't remember. It's like Timberland Lodge or something now. It's like it's still a campground.
Yeah.
But it is out in it's in rural McLean County, Illinois. Okay. And it's on Bloomington Lake. All right.
Okay.
So we were down by the lake, me and now this was at night. And probably at that point, it was dark. So it was probably 9 to 10 o'clock at night. Okay. And myself and two other kids were walking. We had been, you play like capture the flag and you do all kinds of dumb stuff. But we were on our way back to the main camping area.
Okay.
And we had been, I think we were actually camped out in the woods in tents. So this is a walk that we made all the time.
Yeah.
To like go get other kids or whatever.
Okay.
And there was like a small like creek. Well, it's like a drainage, going down to a lake, right? You have all these different drainage.
Yeah. Of course.
Creeks, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not a creek. I don't know what the exact words for, but I called it a drainage.
It's runoff.
It's runoff. It's like a small drainage stream type thing, right?
Sure.
And we heard two distinctive grunts right in front of us, like right across this ditch. And the foliage was pretty thick right there.
Yeah.
And we were going to jump across and then skirt up because there was kind of like a trail that veered off to the right-hand side, but two grunts and just a horrible smell hit us.
Yeah.
Like combination of like, you want to say wet dog, like mixed with decomp or something.
Oh,
it's horrific, dude.
Yeah. Like if you smell, like it's one of those smells that you would have to smell again in order to. Like,
yeah. It's just like super unclean, like animal, human, whatever, like BO mixed with rotting whatever, and just horrible, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly what but like like how bears have a distinctive smell.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Okay.
So it's either way. Horrible smell. And then the woods that were ahead of us like exploded with like violent movement, kind of like you were talking about
what
you experienced.
Yeah.
Violent movement and it just ungodly scream. like not a scream. So I say scream, but it was more like a howl.
Okay.
But in a Sasquatch kind of
Yeah.
way, right?
And
Like
Sasquatch-esque.
right. And if
Yeah.
people have heard Sasquatch howls or what are allegedly Sasquatch howls. That's what it was. And it was no more than 10 to 15 feet away. And
Wow.
I just remember that like I could feel it. I
Yeah.
could feel it in my chest.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you that now, later on now, since I've been going to the Allegheny National Forest, last year when I went, I had a scream right not that far from me either. And
Mhm.
it was almost identical, but this one in Illinois was a much lower pitch.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And so
But a
we just
similar sound to it.
similar sound,
Yeah.
similar like everything except for the tone was so much lower pitched.
So maybe male, female, man.
Maybe,
Maybe you got one of each.
could be, maybe,
Or old, young. Who
or old,
knows?
young,
Yeah.
juvenile. Because I can tell you, like that was one of the first things I said in my mind last year.
Yeah.
Was that's either a female or a juvenile.
Okay. That makes sense.
So immediately I thought that. But so then needless to say, we ran. I mean, we just took off, bros.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the kids screamed, like, like, but
Of course.
he was probably 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. Pretty much, we told people about it,
Yeah.
but we never talked about it again.
Okay.
And
Why?
this seems to be, I don't know. But this seems to be a trend
Mhm.
because it's freaking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's what it was, even for a 12-year-old kid.
No one's gonna listen to you anyways.
No,
Yeah.
not really. I do remember telling like our assistant scoutmaster that something big was in the woods, and I explained the situation, but it was kind of like, are you okay? Yeah, okay. Well, it's
You're
fine.
fine.
You're
Yeah.
fine. And then it's not like I'm gonna run around school, junior high school, like, hey, guess what happened last weekend?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just wait till I'm 50 to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But this is why you have so many of these instances. And I can tell you, I can close my eyes right now and I can smell the smell.
Mhm.
I can feel the yell, howl, whatever you want to.
Yep.
It's so vivid in my mind. It's traumatic.
Absolutely, man.
Now, veteran trauma,
Mhm.
I've been there, got that post-traumatic stress, all the things. And there's certain aspects of my life that I just remember like it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just burnt into your brain. This is one of those.
Yeah.
So, my details, they are what they are. It's how
Yeah.
I remember it. So
Yeah.
I just put that up like last week on this. Then I've got others, one in Alaska and
Yep.
then one in oh my God. See?
Yeah.
Can't even remember that, but one in Alaska
It's
and
the
then one.
TBIs, man. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
it is something. So either way, I've got others. So what I started doing is writing them down so I can just tell them in a smoother fashion, just kind of like I did this one.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not all
Yeah.
disgruntled and just jumbled and
It's organized and whatnot.
Yep. So
Yeah. I think the Arctic story is by far one of my favorites and got my heart racing for sure the first time you told me it.
Right.
I mean, the reality is too, again, you kind of, as an empath myself, and with a similar background to you, obviously the Marines and everything, mental health,
Yep.
stuff like that. We're kind of in the same boat. It's just you can feel specific things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and
It's
you
not like
know
we
it's
talk
there.
to dead people or something. It's
No.
not like that. And I know I don't. People
Yeah.
always ask me because I do have some after I drowned
Hmm.
that time in
Sure.
the open ocean and basically, you know, passed away and then
Yeah.
was brought back to life. I don't particularly remember like a, near death experience,
Mhm.
but how many times do you hear about these stories of people dying, coming back, and then there's something like they bring something with them,
Something's different. Yeah.
like whether they can see auras or they can talk to, people that are deceased or they Y yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many different stories, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty normal, uh,
Hmm.
for that type of experience, whether they had a near-death experience or not.
Yeah.
People have had something and it's definitely either rewired something or, like, they were able to bring something, like, whether it's telepathic ability or something
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
with them. So, anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
you have the empathic bug.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we talk about stuff like this, so yeah, I may be new to this realm, and kind of green here, but again, I know what I saw and heard, and I know what I felt. Um, I also have experienced a ton of different, uh, I guess we can call them
Yeah, yeah,
paranormal experiences,
for sure.
where it just shifted my view on life immediately. Because there was absolutely, and again, we'll save all the juice for later. I don't want to spill everything the first time we talk, but like some of those experiences legitimately changed how I lived my life and had started that questioning process of wait, we really don't know everything
We
because
don't know
that
anything.
actually just happened. Um, and I can't explain it, and I don't think anyone else can right now.
Yep, we don't know anything, man. I mean, we
No,
think we do, but I mean,
we
the
say we
debate
know.
goes on, right? The debate goes on forever, man, and like
Yeah,
you just don't
yeah,
know.
no,
We just don't actually know a lot.
exactly,
We know
and
a
that
lot, but
is
we don't know a lot
yeah, and that's why we're here, man.
for sure. So
Throwing seeds all over the place.
tossing seeds into people's
Yeah,
minds, man, and
yep,
that's literally what it is. It's like I want people to think about these things and not
yeah,
just like blow it off and be like, yeah,
mhm,
there's just too many. You go through life with too many things. Once you have your eyes open to, you see it
yeah,
all.
yeah,
It's actually really nutty and bizarre
mhm,
how like once your eyes are open, you can't shut it off, man. I
no, no,
I
you
mean,
can't.
I down a rabbit hole
Mhm,
every other day, as you can attest. I call you and I'm like, dude,
yeah,
listen to this. Like,
yeah,
because I do a lot of research, obviously. I
mhm,
wouldn't be able to put out the episodes I put out without the research.
no.
And oh my lord, man.
For
It's just
those,
like so bizarre.
just to give like the listeners an idea, of your work ethic. This man legitimately pumps shit out on like a daily basis, is constantly sending me ideas and asking me for ideas and going back and forth, explaining things like the passion is 100% behind this.
I can tell you that I could probably put out 2 or 3 episodes a day.
I believe it.
I could definitely do one a week, like one a day,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
can't. I've got to hold back
You gotta
because
hold out,
but
man.
we have all kinds of episodes in the kitty.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
man.
it's like I'm trying to do interviews. And I've been at this game a while though, folks, just so you know, because this is the first time I mean, people hear me, right? But I'm
Sure.
not talking, I'm telling a story, I'm telling whatever, but
Mhm.
here I'm actually talking to the audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Interactive. This is much different.
right, more interactive.
Yeah.
That I I don't even know what I was gonna say. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just ADD at its finest, man.
Absolutely, man.
Um, so I just literally this is my pet. Oh, I've been in the podcast game a long time.
Mhm.
This isn't my first podcast. This is not my second podcast. This
Yeah.
is like my fifth podcast.
Yeah.
Um, you know, some of them are pretty successful, but I've got something like, you know, because I've already gotten comments, and not hate, but
Sure.
comments, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I've been in this game for 10 years, you
Mhm.
know, the
Yep.
podcast game, and I've had some successful podcasts and some very not successful podcasts.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've done all sorts of different things about business, entrepreneurship, all the things. But I can tell you unequivocally, I'm the most passionate about this. And I've never delved into it the way that I have because why? Stigma.
Yeah.
And I just don't care. I'll
Mhm.
fly this freak flag high,
Yeah.
bro.
Hell
I
yeah, brother.
don't care. I mean, I talk to entrepreneurs all, you know, every year. There's a couple times in a couple conferences that I do, you know, little speaking things in. And one of them every year
Yep.
that I do is I talk to young, they're not young necessarily, but they're new burgeoning entrepreneurs
Mhm.
in a veterans program.
Yep.
Okay. And this year I just came right out and said it. I'm like, you know what? My biggest pastime and my hobby is I look for Sasquatch. And you know how freeing that was to me? Like,
I
because
can't even
I've been
imagine.
researching this stuff for years and just
Yeah.
delving into it and going like, man, I want to go out on like a BFRO, or some other expedition and this and
Yeah.
that. And I just for years I fought against it and fought against it. And now,
Mhm.
so the last 3 years now,
Yeah.
I've been knee deep in it and finally said, you know what, podcast time.
Yep.
Now I'm dragging your ass along too. So
Absolutely, brother.
because
I'm not
you
kicking and
always need a
screaming.
battle buddy. So
Absolutely, man. I mean, the reality is, man, I've going through life, the coincidences start to line up and make way more sense. Um and again, we were just happen to run back into each other after all these years,
yep,
and look where it got us.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, because you had the property, I was like, you know what? Let me give Joule a call.
Yeah.
Let's see.
See
And
what
you
we
were
can
like,
do back then.
bro, guess what just happened like
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was it. Yeah, man. So it's just it's like it's meant to be. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but oh people,
Yeah.
people. And yeah, man,
No idea. There's a
we're in
lot in
it to win
store.
it. And
Mhm.
I am not going anywhere. Like a lot of podcasts, I think I already have more episodes than most podcasts out there
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I think the average, I think there's 5 million podcasts actually. And I think
Jesus.
on average, they only have 3 episodes. Something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard that somewhere the other day.
Well, that makes
So,
sense. It makes sense. People
yep.
try, and then when they don't get a hit,
Or
they give up.
or whatever. It's
Mhm.
just because it's work. But
It's a
at the
lot.
end of the day, it's all passion. So,
Mhm.
and so what I was saying is, you know, we're both veterans, but
Yep.
this is a mission
Yeah.
and this is therapeutic. So
100%, man.
I also urge any veterans listening that if you want to find a mission, even if you know what, the skeptical, the better.
Yeah.
The more skeptical you are, the better. And you know,
Get out and try to
maybe
prove it
we can
wrong.
help you. Yeah, get out there and look, get out there and
Yeah.
whatever, and give me a call. I don't care, whatever.
Mhm.
Reach out to me. I'm everywhere on the internet. If you put in my name into Google, Bennett Tanton into Google, I'm like the first 3 pages.
Yeah.
So there's no other Bennett Tantons out there
Mhm.
running around. Well, there was, but I think he passed away already.
Ah, well,
And
rest in peace.
he was in this like his 80s and somewhere in like Georgia. But
Different guy.
anyway, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm the
Yep.
only one.
Mhm.
And I've done enough public things that I'm out
You're out
there.
there.
I'm out
Absolutely.
there. So yeah, crazy, crazy, mad stuff, but amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So anything else you want to add?
No, not really, man. I'm just along for the ride, brother. I'm really, if I can say, I'm just honored to even be a part of something like this. I mean, I've known you for years, but I think obviously we've gotten a lot closer in
Different,
recent times.
different
Different
relationship, man.
circumstances.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
But yeah, this is a beautiful thing, man, and I'm gonna dive into it as much as I can with you. You know.
Absolutely. So yeah, so the idea now is that we will be doing podcasts, I'd say once a week,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
We're gonna try at least
Yeah.
once a week together, just
Mhm.
to talk about whatever we want to talk about that day, whether it's, I mean, damn, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like people are like, this is a niche. And I'm like,
Mhm.
bro, no,
True.
it is a niche, but this is like, I can't just stick with like cryptids or
No.
hauntings or paranormal or, uh, conspiracy stuff. I just can't. I
Let's
have
open the
to do it all.
floodgates.
I have
Yep.
to do it all because it all just, and I like to show the correlation or the congruency between a lot of the stuff of the
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
So like next week, I think it's next week. Is this, I'll be putting this out Sunday.
Okay.
So Sasquatch Sunday, hold on. I'm going to give us a date right now
Nice.
that this is going to post on the 21st. No, 22nd.
Okay.
But so the episode on the 24th, the episode on the 26th, and the 28th,
Mm-hmm.
because God, I'm doing 3 episodes a week. So this will be the 22nd, but the 24th is on Voodoo.
Okay.
This is just to give you, guys, this will be
rundown.
on Voodoo.
Mhm.
The 26th, so I'm hooking in with that Voodoo, but it's the Rogaroo. I'm probably saying it incorrectly. I've got to record the episode still, but it's like a Cajun werewolf.
What? Oh man, I can't wait for that.
Right?
Holy shit.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
And then the skunk ape, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
the Sasquatch Sunday episode on the 29th, sorry, I said the 28th,
Mhm.
will be the but there is a swamp down in Louisiana. Well, shit, Louisiana is all swamp, right?
It's all swamp, yeah.
But let me pull this up.
Okay.
There is, yeah, so it's the Rogaroo legend, right? Is basically the Louisiana werewolf kind of dogman thing, but it's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But then the Cajun Sasquatch, which is, of course, the Cajun folk are, there's a lot of French influence down in Louisiana,
Sure.
right? So I'm not even going to try and say, I got to figure out how to say this before I record the episode. But it's like the La Bête Noire in the Honey Island swamp. But what La Bête Noire means, something black. What the hell is La Bête?
La Baie.
La Baie.
La Baie Noire. Yeah, I could be wrong.
It's something like that though, but it's like the Black Monster or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, noir is black, obviously.
Yes, that I do know.
Yep.
But it's basically the Honey Island swamp creature, right?
Okay.
And so it's like Sasquatch, but maybe it's not Sasquatch, right? Maybe it's a different type of Sasquatch. Because there's a distinct difference between like the oh my God, what are the ones in Florida called? Skunk ape.
What do you
there's a difference between like a skunk ape. I mean, maybe not completely, but it's kind of like, to me, it's almost like black bear, brown bear. You've got skunk apes are way smaller in essence than like a boreal, like Alaskan Sasquatch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Like one of the pictures of those footprints you sent me.
Footprints, like a 21-inch footprint.
Yeah,
That's
it's
insane, bro.
Yeah, you can fit a child in it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Right. It's just crazy. And I mean, I've seen some big footprints too. Like the biggest that I've ever seen in person though were 18 inches.
I mean,
And
that's
that's just
still huge.
terrifying. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah. You imagine running into that.
Oh no, no thanks. I mean, it's like I don't.
That's what we're doing, bud.
I know. I was like, this is happening if it's happening. You know?
Yeah.
Because I've never had a visual.
Yeah. Neither. I can't say I have either.
But I've definitely I could smell it. I could, man, more than once.
Yeah.
Within 20 feet, 10 to 15, 20 feet at the closest, and just knowing that something's there that could just tear me to shreds.
Yeah. Yeah. Without
you
really
can just
trying.
feel it. You can just feel like the power coming off of it. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm going this way.
Yep. I'm not playing this game.
So, so anyway, we just wanted to introduce this whole Sasquatch Sunday and our new guest host.
Yeah.
New host.
Thanks,
Guest host.
man.
Host.
Yeah. I would say I'm a guest for at least this one. Then we can call me a host when I start getting my legs under me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll do a nice little bio for you before.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Make you sound cool or something. Totally not. But anyway.
Yeah. We're just two dudes, man. We're just two dudes
for
looking
sure.
for Bigfoot.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, man. But
All right,
I think we're good. And this was fun.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to keep riding this wave, man.
Absolutely. So I'm sure we'll talk in the next day or two.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I'm gonna go to bed, I think. What time
yeah,
is
it? 9:15.
Yeah, I'm old, guys.
Yeah,
so
9:15. Time for bed.
I'll be going up. I guarantee you my wife's in bed already.
Yeah. I mean,
my 15-year-old will be sitting there like eating Cheez-Its or something, but my wife will be in bed.
Yep. So, hey man, that's the life of a parent.
All right, guys, take care, and we will see you on the next one.
See you next time, everybody.
I got bad thoughts that make my mind scared. Hold me hostage and they don't fight fair. Who gon' pray for me and wipe on my tears? Who gon' save me if you not right here? Move this darkness and make my sight clear. Take me your way cause I don't like here. Ghosts of my past, they feeling the night air. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, I'm trapped in my nightmares. Drowning, I'm off the deep end. Apparitions of all my demons. All my thoughts are committing treason. All alone, who gon' hear me screaming? Manifestations of my fears. Regrets that stretched out for light years. Can almost touch the light, homie, it's right there. Body free but trapped in my nightmares. Wake me up, don't let me drown. All the lights are fading now. All my